we got some solicitations for June, which DC for some reason threw out on a random like Wednesday instead of the usual Friday. I don't know why, but they did. So here we are. I will just mention, I'm not going to talk about them, but there's like 6 issues of Batman Fortnite or something at the top of these solicits. No one cares. Go away.
Do you want you say that? Twitter cares. Twitter cares about these issues.
I don't care if Twitter cares. I don't care. I don't care if Twitter cares. All right. So can we talk about actual DC Comics? Can we do that?
What?
Rather than going down
Solicits.
Rather than going down stupid tangents about Fortnite, please. Infinite Frontier issue 1. We kind of already obviously talked about this because this was in the advanced things last week. But yeah, 40 page, $5. This is the Williamson and Zermanico mini / event. I don't know if it's quite event level. I guess it probably is.
Yeah, I would say so, based that it's taking off from the Infinite Frontier 0, right? Much more
kind of eventy.
Yeah, much more focused than sprawling. So
yeah, it's kind of eventy, but it also feels kind of. It almost feels like a quieter book before the event book actually happens to me for some reason, and I think that's just because it's following this group of characters, try to find out what Darkseid's doing and what these worlds mean, and all that stuff.
This is like the road to whatever the next event is.
Yeah. Like, because I feel like the big bombastic event where the universe, the multiverse is at stake, and the Justice League have to band together. I don't think that's happening in this book. I feel like this is building up to whatever that is.
Yeah.
But which is not a complaint. I mean, I'm happy for them to build up to it. It's an interesting cast of characters they got in there, of course, as well. Just looking at that cover, very interesting. So, yes, very neat, very neat. Yeah, and Justice Incarnate. Darkseid, a lot of buzzwords. Roy Harper's alive. Roy Harper's not dead, so that's exciting.
More on Roy Harper in the next book.
Yeah, well, there's also a one-shot coming out called Infinite Frontier Secret Files, issue 1. This is an 80-page, $10 anthology-style book, which, I'll just read the text rather than speculate anything. Are you ready for the new Infinite Frontier series? Do you have the lowdown and all the characters? If not, this print edition of the digital first Secret File series. So is this already happened, or is it not happened yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. We'll tell you everything you're dying to know. Take a look inside Director Bone's personal database. Oh, so that's their framing device, is it? For stories focusing on Jade and Obsidian, the children of the original Green Lantern, Psycho Pirate, the scourge of many a crisis on many an earth. That's a funny sentence, I'll give them that. President Superman, the multiverse's ultimate beacon of hope, Roy Harper back from the dead, and Just Who Are the Totality. Featuring 6 stories in print for the first time. So this will be available to read in chapters digitally before this comes out.
What's interesting is, given the size of it and how it is very much just his 6 separate stories, this might read better digitally rather than like one big slog.
I mean, it's 80 pages, it's 6 stories. Yeah, it actually might work out to be about 6 full-size 20-page books.
Well, no.
13.3, so I just did the math.
Yeah,
okay.
So six full size is like 120.
That's a good point. Yes. Okay.
But I mean, even so, like, because they're entirely like one-shot stories, even as digital first.
Look, I've not been awake for very long. I had to start an hour earlier. I'm still not woken up. Right, my brain's not functioning. Okay.
It's not that, Pete. It's your. I don't say your rivalry, but what was it called? Where you're just complete opposite, like. You wanting just the opposite of Connor is you almost wanted to argue the math, but you're like, no, the math checks out. I can't. Adversarial. That's the word I was looking for. Your adversarial relationship with Connor.
I'll say we're not yet on the level of Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. One day.
Oh my god, that meme was fantastic.
I love that there, Robert. You know the.
Can we not tangent into something else that I have no knowledge of, please?
One little fun fact.
Hashtag blame Connor. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Again, obviously this got an early solicit. Oh, is that Gary Frank covering you though?
That is.
Yeah. Hello.
I mean, but like, it's weird, but I'm still about that Evilly cover. I mean, I love Gary Frank, don't get me wrong.
I mean, I like both of them.
I mean, the Evilly cover's nice, but I have to admit, my heart does maybe lean towards the Gary Frank one. That said, never discount a good gradient, because that blue gradient cover is...
Yeah, the
that
blank.
really annoys me, because the blank cover, and I like blank covers, because, you know the idea of where you get commissions drawn on them.
Mm-hmm.
Make it white. Just make it white with a nice thick stock.
Yeah, but like, as someone that frames their signed comics or whatever, having a signed commission on that blue gradient, it would make it stick out.
Yeah, I think the gradient's fine. I think this is a nice spin on the blank variant.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, if they start doing like zigzag patterns and stuff, yeah, it's over complex.
Yeah.
But I think a nice simple gradient that corresponds to the theme of the character is a nice touch. Kind of like, did Marvel do like a black cover so that if you get it drawn, you have to get it drawn in white? I'm pretty sure that was one of the things they did. Do like a black blank cover for a book. I think that's something.
I mean, I can't say for sure either way. I never saw it, but I mean, it's not a stupid idea to have seen.
No, I think it's fine. But yeah, so obviously we're looking forward to this. This is Tom King's. Although I mean, I knew it was Tom King anyway. But the formatting on this CBR solicits, and we're only looking at CBR instead of Newsarama because for some reason Newsarama made a complete mess of their solicits post this month. But they're written by Tom King that isn't formatted properly and is in a tiny, tiny font at the top of it, and you can barely see it.
Do you know what? I looked over that even when you were starting saying that, it doesn't say written by Tom King there, because I noticed that then. I was looking for it. My eyes just went over that every time. I just didn't see that tiny line. I just thought they'd forgot to put it in.
It's just clearly it's just a slight formatting snafu. But hey ho, obviously, yeah, Tom King miniseries, good stuff. Supergirl getting some spotlight, doing some stuff in space. These are all things that we typically like. I mean, Connor tends to like less things, but
yeah, but it's built receivably, so.
Yes. Who did that okay issue of Wonder Woman that one time?
Okay, I'll fight you right now, sir.
Whistle, a Gotham City Hero by E. Lockhart, and then art by Manuel Pritano.
A new Gotham City Hero.
Sorry, a new Gotham City Hero. Yeah, 17-year-old Willow Zimmerman. That appears to be the focus here. Yeah, it's a young adult graphic novel. It's kind of going along with these things. So you have that. We talked about this last week as well. The DC Pride one shot, which they've done similar things before, but this is makes sense. 80-page book, creators from the LGBT community, and a bunch of stories based on a bunch of characters that you would kind of expect.
Yeah, I bet. I won't know. I'll just say I thought it was really interesting. They got the actress from the Supergirl show to write her version of Dreamer for the first time. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was a neat touch.
Two, we got three things. Two, variant covers. That Bartel cover is absolutely gorgeous. And then three, I bet DC are glad they announced this a week early, because in comparison to the rest of the solicits, because Marvel solicits, for whatever weird reason happened this week, Marvel solicits already came out before DC's, and they have a Pride one shot as well in theirs. But because DC announced theirs early, it's like they got all the headlines about it.
I didn't even know Marvel was doing one until you just said something. So
right, it's in their solicits. Yeah.
I'm shockingly good at not paying attention to Marvel solicits, and every so often I'm like, oh, what's Marvel been doing recently? And I'll go check the last couple. But
I tend to skim through them. I want to see, like, most of the time I want to see what Star Wars books are coming out that month, and they're usually buried right at the bottom. A new Predator book coming, Pete.
I think
their Alien book starts like next week.
I did see there's a new Predator book. I have no opinion on Ed Brisson, the writer.
I've read a couple of things. I mean, hit or miss. Okay. He hasn't been on anything I really love, so I don't have a strong opinion.
Who's doing the Alien book?
I don't remember, but I mean, it's coming out in the next week or two, so you'll be able to check on League Comic Geeks.
Okay. And then the miniseries that was sort of tied to that a little bit was Crushing Lobo, which is also coming out. It's an 8-issue miniseries surprisingly, I did not realize that it was Mariko Tamaki that was writing that with
Me neither.
Aranki Hilpin on the art.
Yeah, that made me slightly more interested in it than I ever was before.
Slightly. This is one of these things where I care about creators more than I do characters, but there's some characters that I'm so disinterested in that it's like, okay, I guess I'll try it.
Yeah. Like when I just saw it last week, when it was, I don't know if they gave us the actual team last week or just, oh, this is coming, by the way.
I don't remember them giving us a team, but
no, I don't either. But this was also one of the ones that was in that.
It was in that full list at the retailer event. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, this is the only one out of that list of like 11 books that's actually sort of materialized in a real Solicits.
To be fair, they did tell us it would be over the year that those were launching.
Yeah, the point I'm making though is that there's a lot left, and that there's still other new books that weren't in that list that are being announced. So
it's true. Yeah, which means we might have a very healthy lineup come the end of the year.
Very possibly. So yes, so that's coming out. This is a $5 book. What's interesting?
First issue is
It says cardstock variant $4.99, but then it says the regular price is $4.99. So that's a bit surprising.
Yeah. Also, the team variant cover is $4.99. So yeah, that's.
I wonder if it's a typo.
It doesn't mention
the actual
page
if you
count.
look at the actual main cover, it says $3.99 on the cover itself.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
So I'm going to assume it's a $3.99 book, and that's a typo.
Yeah. The cardstock being $1 more is normal. That's just they've been doing that for ages, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing is the graphic novel Poison Ivy Thorns, written by Cody Keplinger and art by Sarah Kippen.
They're doing a gothic horror twist. I'm pretty interested in this.
I might have to pick this up.
Truth and Justice issue 5's coming out. There's a new printing. This is weird that some of the trades are popping up here, but Batwoman Elegy's getting a new printing, but they've got Ruby Rose from the show on the cover, which I hate. I hate when books do that. I hate the.
Well, the fact she's not even there anymore. So...
I mean, yeah, but I in principle, I hate when they put like actors and stuff on the cover of a book.
I hate again, like film covers of books.
I don't mind it as much when it's like the Jurassic Park logo being the cover of the book doesn't bother me too much because it's just the logo. But see if it was like Sam Neill and like Goldblum and they're like sort of like, hey, like I'm like, no, piss off.
Yeah,
I would buy it just for that.
I bet you would.
Get a really thick frame and put it in
I really want the Folio Society edition of Jurassic Park that they've just put out, and oh man, looks so nice.
Yes. Okay, apparently there's a bunch of trades here. So Suicide Squad Bad Blood is the Tom Taylor run. All in one book seemingly, which is cool.
Yeah. This is a weirdly late solicit because this is coming out like next month.
That's a bit odd. Harley Quinn Breaking Glass.
It's just a paperback printing. We've already had the hardcover.
Already had the hardcover. Yes, Tamaki. Another graphic novel. You Brought Me the Ocean.
Same again.
Brought me?
Just a paperback printing.
Yeah. Did I say it wrong?
Did you say broke or brought?
I said
I
brought.
thought you said broke as well.
I said it quickly, I guess, but sorry, yeah,
Gotcha.
you brought me the ocean. I like the idea of breaking the ocean, though. All right, back out some comics. Batman Reptilian, which we talked about last week. Don't worry, Connor. I told everyone you were disappointed that Ennis was writing it, but
so disappointed.
I'm excited. I think this looks good. I'm so into it, and plus more Black Label books, and we got some news on Black Label as a whole actually after the Solicits to come. So some cool stuff. But yes, Batman Reptilian #1, Ennis and Sharp, really cool stuff. Batman The Adventures Continue, Season 2, so this is more of the animated series continuing book with Alan Burnett and Paul Dini writing, art by Ty Templeton.
The horrible Rosmo cover.
With the horrible Rosmo cover, yes. Which is funny because you think the art's supposed to try and feel as much as possible like the animated series, but I guess after a while it's hard to keep finding artists to keep doing that.
I mean, there's cover art. You can have the same one do all of them if you really want.
Yeah, but it becomes a tad repetitive, and on a book like this, you kind of want to showcase. So, I get it. It's Rosmo.
Yeah. Checkmate. Obviously, this was something that was supposed to come out a while ago. Event Leviathan Checkmate's the full title. The cover just says Checkmate, though, so I don't know if they're even bothering with the whole thing. But Obviously, this is Bendis and Maleev. At least me and Matt are looking forward to this.
Uh-huh.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
I'm pumped. Also, something else we talked about last week, which is Green Arrow 80th Anniversary Special One-Shot with a bunch of creators doing a bunch of stories. A lot of names you expect, some surprising and new.
That Gary Frank variant as well.
Yes. Obviously names you expect like Benjamin Percy, Mike Grell, but also names that are kind of new, like Tom Taylor. I don't think's done much Green Arrow, for example. So cool. A lot of great artists as well. Yeah, that's a 96-page one shot. But we have typically done these anniversary one shots because they're specials. I think what's interesting, and I said this last week, but I'll just reiterate here, is that this doesn't have an ongoing book to sort of lead a story into. So maybe it'll tie in more to Justice League. But that said, there's no Bendis. There's no Bendis story. Or maybe Checkmate, but also Bendis.
What I will say is, I think we kind of mentioned this. What was the other special they announced? Not this one. Before the Pride, there was one last month.
It was the Asian.
Yes.
Character one.
Yes.
And I remember saying at the time, like, I'm much more willing to read those because at least they've got a purpose. They're spotlighting something that needs the representation. The same with the Pride one here. Whereas these 80th anniversary, I'm like, you can do these every 5 years, and they probably. I'm kind of like, I'm a bit bored of just all his one character for 96 pages. I'm much more interested in the other ones that have got more variety in them.
I get it, but like this. For one, there's no Green Arrow book, so it's actually a bit more welcoming, I think, because of that.
Yeah, and
That's fair.
And this has a murderer's row of creators on both art and writing.
It does, yeah.
So,
you say this could be done every 5 years, but technically speaking, like the Pride one shot can be done every year.
It could.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they haven't done those every year.
Yeah, but they may now.
No, I mean,
It may join the Halloween, the Christmas, and the Valentine's
if
like
it leads
yearly.
to showcasing more
rotation.
creators, though, that's probably a good thing.
Oh, that's a good thing. I'm more just nitpicking at you comparing it to this than I am existing.
I do like them doing both if it's not a packed week.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Well,
you're not dropping them on the same week, put them out. I don't care.
Well, worth mentioning is a fifth week in June, so this Green Arrow one sits nicely on that fifth week when there's obviously always going to be less books than usual.
Yeah, there's a handful of annuals. I'm sure we'll get to those, but
yeah. But that's neat. That's neat. So I'm excited about this. I never got Cora's opinion on this last week, but The Nice House on the Lake, the James Tynion Black Label horror book with Alvaro Martinez on the art.
yeah, I did not look at the premise. It was Tynan. It was Martinez Bueno on the art. I was like, yeah, I'm in.
We did look at the premise and it sounds good, but I kind of agree that I was already in before I even looked at the premise.
It was just on the creative team alone. I was like, yeah, I'm on board. It just and they're doing a horror book at Black Label. I was like, that was enough for me, frankly.
Yeah, and then we have some annuals to look at here, and they're changing their annual format. Actually, they're doing what Boom Comics and a few other publishers have been doing for a while, which is they're not going to number their annuals anymore. They're actually just naming them by year, which actually makes a lot more sense because one of the things about looking at annuals in past runs is that you'll see, Action Comics annual number 1, but they've rebooted Action Comics a couple of times and they've restarted the annual numbers. So it's like, okay, which one do you mean? So at least Action Comics 2021 annual, there is no doubt what that means.
Where it's at. Yep.
We know what it is. So that's cool. And as the regular writer, Johnson is doing this with art by Sia Om. I'm probably butchering that name, so apologies if I am. But the House of L stuff is tying into this annual, so you're getting a one-shot effectively about some of those characters.
And it says it connects to Warworld Rising, which is the ongoing story in, I think it's in Action, right?
The backup, yeah.
No, I don't think that's the backup. I think Warworld Rising is the name of the main story going on in Action after this month.
Okay, well, I wasn't actually expecting it to be completely disconnected and meaningless, but
yeah. But also, there is a typo or a miscommunication in the solicit text, because they mention Brandon's relationship with Theander and says, "Prepare for some romance." He's like, "Don't worry, there are two different sentences essentially. It's not getting weird."
Oh sure, yes.
Because wasn't Theander his daughter?
His daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
Johnson was like, "There's a miscommunication. It didn't get fixed. Please stop panicking."
So it's basically like, hey, this is Theander's origin story because this is how her dad met her mom.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that being the case. Hopefully, this one has much less King Arthur parallels to talk about, because I really don't want to have to listen to that again.
How you enjoy Once Future?
Yeah.
Shut up. Catwoman 2021 annual. Next, also out in that last week, of course. Very pretty variant on that one. Nice and moody.
It reminds me of Sandman or Starman. Those covers.
Yeah, I can see that. It's got that painted quality to it.
Sharp cover, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's sharp.
Yeah, because the other one's Kyle Hots.
Did he color that himself? Is he the one that's doing these painted?
I think so. He's been experimenting with a bit on that Green Lantern run.
It looks a bit different than his normal art, where he's just regular coloring.
If you want to see different to his normal art, go on Comixology and go to Green Lantern Season 2, Issue 3, and look at just the first few pages in the preview. Wildly different.
Yeah, so this is So as worth mentioning, these annuals, like, have they always been $6, or were they used to be $5?
They used to be $4.99, so this is just
this feels like they've got up in price a little bit. Now, annuals obviously aren't that constant, so it's not that huge a deal, but it is worth mentioning, just in pointing that out. But yeah, so this is Ram V. So this again, well, I assume it'll feel fairly like separate in the sense that an annual should feel a little bit separate from the main issue, but it is the main writer, so it will tie to the run.
Reading the solicit text, it seems to be about Father Valley. So it talks about his connection to Azrael. That's going to be in there. So I think it'll be expanding on the main run, given that he's a main character, kind of. But
well, that's what I mean. The same with the House of L stuff. Annuals, when they're written by the writer who's doing the ongoing run, I expect something that ties into the main story and is relevant. But it's effectively, I expect when like a TV show will do like a flashback episode or something like that, where they'll focus in on a character. So it feels a little bit. So it doesn't just feel like issue, something 0.5. It actually feels like a kind of a separate chapter, but related. Flash 2021 annual is the next one. Again, it's the ongoing writer Jeremy Adams, who's on there, and then
it's a little bit different. Where this is literally just the next part of the story. It's actually the conclusion of the story, so you do need this one if you're reading that Flash book.
Yeah, I wouldn't begrudge them too much, because I do see the appeal of saying, hey, that oversized book we get to do the annual, can we make that the finale to our arc? So it can be like a supersized finale. I kind of get the appeal of doing it that way.
Makes it feel a little special.
And then it's not called an annual, but it effectively is. Teen Titans Academy Yearbook 2021. Again, it's the ongoing writer Tim Sheridan.
I've just seen the Roy Harper Academy is what they called it. That's a bit awkward, given that he's like not dead anymore.
Yeah.
They don't know that though.
No.
He's going to show up halfway through the run, and they're all going to be like, wait a minute, we named this school after you bastard.
the school I work at, its namesake was around for quite a few years.
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt, don't name it.
No. They would show up occasionally and make a big deal about it, and they still have a parking spot that no one's allowed to park in, even though the person is passed 6 years ago.
I mean, I went to Catholic school, so all mine were named after like saints or famous bishops and stuff from the area.
Imagine them walking through the doors. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically an annual. I mean, they're not calling it that, but it's an annual.
They're just having some fun with the title, but it's an annual.
Yeah.
So that's what, 4 annuals? Yeah, so that's a healthy amount of annuals for a month with a 5th week. We got Wonder Woman Black and Gold adding to this two-tone color kind of anthology style book that Batman Black and White started a long time ago, but it came back. So now we have Superman Red and Blue, we have Harley Quinn Black, Red and White, or whatever it's called, and and then we got Wonder Woman Black and Gold coming in June. So
I noticed a Marvel side copy as well, because they had a Wolverine one that was like, I think it was like black and white and red as well, but the idea, it's all blood for Wolverine.
Blood.
Yeah.
I don't know, the colors I think of Wolverine are blue and yellow, but whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, when I was talking to my comic book guy about Superman Red and Blue, he was like, oh, that's usually a Marvel thing to do with the colors, and it's Loeb and Sale. I was like, yeah, this is a little bit different, though. Like, this is a whole...
Yeah, because that wasn't...
Those are complete stories,
Yeah, Yeah, and that also wasn't like
different rights.
tied completely to just using the color throughout. I mean, it was obviously
Right.
heavily featured, but it wasn't.
Right.
Wasn't a hard and fast rule.
Yeah. Injustice Year Zero, the complete collection hardcover, Tom Taylor. Chapters 1 to 14 included. There you go. Wonder Woman 8 Years of the Amazon Warrior, Deluxe Edition hardcover. So that's kind of like when the Action Comics hit 1,000, they had that hardcover that went along with it. Yeah.
I hate these ones more than anything else because they don't give you anything, do they?
Oh, I didn't see this before. Space Jam: A New Legacy. 144-page book.
It's an adaptation of the film.
So I guess they're trying to time this. I suppose now that they're releasing everything on HBO Max, they know that it's going to come out. So
They can now.
I guess, yeah.
Go for it.
Yes. I can't wait to see how much of a mess Space Jam 2 is.
I saw someone tweet what the actual premise of that movie was, and holy shit, I did not realize it was that.
It was a bit wackier than I was expecting. I don't even remember it that well, but it was like social media was involved.
It was basically like traveling through various things on like a streaming service. So think like, you know how Wreck-It Ralph is like traveling through like the internet or like, you know, the games. It's like that, except through HBO Max, basically.
With LeBron James, and has nothing to do with basketball.
I assume him and Bugs Bunny are together though as they're going through all these various properties.
Yeah. I'm assuming so.
Because it's not Space Jam if Bugs Bunny and maybe some of the other Looney Tunes are around. So
yeah.
I mean, this cover does have them holding basketball, so maybe they do play basketball eventually.
It does also say it's not the final cover.
Oh, well, someone made a cover, even if it's a temp cover. They made a cover where they're both holding basketballs. They're in basketball jerseys.
It's true.
One of my favorite things came out is all the nerds being mad about Lola Bunny. And I'm like, we've reached peak internet, guys.
What were they mad about?
They've redesigned her. She's not as hot anymore, apparently.
She's a rabbit.
Yeah.
She's a cartoon rabbit.
Yeah, well, that's the internet for you.
Oh, is this like when Final Fantasy Remake first showed off Tifa and there was like nerds everywhere going, our boobs aren't big enough. They did load their boobs.
Pretty much.
Almost spot on.
That's pretty pathetic. All right, so more actual comics here. Superman Action Comics issue 1032. I said that weird because I was under the cover where it says Superman first. Yeah, not much to say really. It's still coming out. American Vampire 1976 issue 9. So that's still trucking along. Batman 109 continuing the run. I don't necessarily love that variant cover, but I do kind of appreciate the colors on it, if that makes sense. I don't even know if you get my sentiment there, but there's something about it I like, even if I don't like it overall. It's a weird one.
It's like the vividness, right? Like
yeah. I think with a slightly better line work, I'd love that cover.
But I think it's supposed to be like where they're melding into each other.
Yeah, that's a sort of dreamlike.
I think maybe that's the color choice. I don't know. Because I'm sure the black and white version looks great.
Yeah, the bats look good on it though. The bats flying around. Yeah. Batman is the Detective issue 3. That's the 6-issue mini by Tom Taylor, of course. So we're excited to try that when it hits. Batman Urban Legends issue 4. And after it stole the show last week with that fantastic Red Hood story, I hate to say it. I'm actually. Wait, did you not like the Red Hood story, Connor?
No, I mean it was fun. I don't think I loved it as much as you two did. I haven't listened to what you said. I don't think I loved it quite as much as you two. But well, I mean, I didn't have any problems with it. Okay. I will say, because now you guys have actually, properly experienced this Red Hood outfit that was brought about about a year ago, whenever it was, with probably 2 years ago now, with the redesign. I remember at the time when it came out, going through it with you guys and talking about just the half mask on the bottom and say, "Oh, this is stupid. That won't disguise him much." I take it all back. After a year of everyone wearing masks, it does way more than you think.
Yeah.
I just I want to apologize for that comment that I made. That was ignorance.
Yeah, there's a Tim Drake story starting in this one, by the looks of it. What are you laughing at?
Just that transition. You're apologizing. You're like, Yeah, so Tim Drake.
No, I will say I was really excited when I read, Tim Drake's story, and then I saw it's the person who did the Robin Eternal issues of Future State, and I got really disappointed.
Oh well. Yeah. There's also a Luke Fox story, written by the actor as well. We're going with that theme. The actor from the Batwoman show who plays Luke Fox is writing a Luke Fox story.
Oh shit, Luke Fox is on Batwoman?
Yeah, he's been there since the pilot.
Start. Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, he's kind of the guy in the computer talking to her.
Gotcha.
He's that character.
I mean, that's an appropriate role for a Luke Fox character.
Oh yeah, not complete. I'm more critiquing that every CW show has to have that character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, to be fair, Superman's avoided it thus far. Superman and Lois has avoided that trope so far. I'm glad we all agree. Batman Superman issue 19. Next, so that's going on.
This looks fun.
Lupacino art in there. Was she been on?
Yeah, buddy.
I'm really disappointed that I don't really enjoy Yang's writing, because this looks like I should love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it sucks to be Connor. I mean, between Sharp on a new Ennis Batman book and this.
Yeah, no, there's 4 different artists, so I'm sure it's cycling through different things. But you got Lupacino, Steve Lieber, Derek Robertson, and Kyle Oates. So.
The first line of the text talks about multiple realities, so clearly every reality is going to have, a different artist, and that's fine. Like, that's obviously thought out. Catwoman issue 32 is next. Ooh, I mean, I don't love the face, but I do like seeing the old purple and gloves costume.
I mean, you don't like the face.
I mean, it's all right. It's a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit off about it.
Weird. I just on the solicit text here, I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if you've been doing it on all of them, because I've not been looking, but you threw in like at the end of the Proverbs 25:2.
Oh, I don't know.
Which is obviously very in keeping with Father Valley, who goes around quoting the Bible quite a lot. But yes. I was like, what is that one? And I was just to see if it had any relevance to what was happening. And it's just it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, to search out a matter is the glory of kings. I'm like, okay, so some sort of investigation, maybe. Almost teasing.
Challenges of the Super Sun still being reprinted. Obviously, there was digital first, so issue 3 of that's coming out. Crime Syndicate issue 4, a book which I imagine will not be touching because we didn't like the first issue. But that is there, that's coming out. So maybe obviously we got a lot of the advanced things of the new stuff last week. Probably the juiciest thing to come out of these Solicits is that there's actually 3 books that are double shipping in June. So, which I'm not actually that mad about, mainly just because there's less books right now, so a few of them double shipping isn't like a huge deal.
It feels like a strange choice when we've just kind of put it to bed and we're like, we're not doing double shipping anymore.
Yeah. Especially for the books that only have, or the characters rather, that only have one book. Obviously, this first one that we're mentioning here, Detective Comics, is the notable exception to that because, Batman has several books, not just 2. Yeah, several books. But Detective Comics is double shipping in June, but it's still Tamaki, and John Ridley's doing the backup. Well, in the first one at least. Which is cool. So.
And that's like 4 fantastic covers for these 2 books.
Yeah, the variant for the second one for 1038 specifically, I really like
the Mayo one. I really like the standard cover for 1037, the Dan Mora one. I think that's gorgeous. We should mention though, Dan Mora is not on art anymore for this book, which we kind of always knew it was only going to be off and on because he's off to go back and do more Once and Future. So we got Bogdanovich is the new regular artist.
Yeah, I saw him tweeting about it on Twitter that his run, because he called it his, it's still his run from scratch, but the idea that his time on the book is starting in June.
Yeah.
So.
And we like Bogdanovich, so.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I'll be curious to see, because as far as I know, they've not made an official sort of announcement saying this is a policy change where now we're doing double shipping. It's just, so I'm curious to see, will these books still be double shipping next, the following month? Is this going to be a little bit more like some of Marvel books where some months they'll be single, some they'll be double, and it's okay either way. It's just whatever the schedule sort of led them to. But looking forward to this run. Obviously, we've not had the first issue of Tamaki's Detective yet, but I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm going to be into it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Far Sector issue 12. Finally, Far Sector ends after about 2.5 years or whatever it's been to get to that point. But that's coming out in June. Future State Gotham, of course, issue 2. That's the book where we're going to be cycling through different stories from Future State Universe.
Yeah, I think it's still like a 6-issue Red Hood story first, though, right?
It is, yeah. So issue 2 is still the Red Hood story. And it's Williamson and Dennis Culver who are writing. With Giannis Milionanis. No? Yeah. Giannis
Milo
Milionanis, yes. I remember that name, how to say that name at some point. But no, so neat. And surprisingly, Red Hood's been on a bit of a roll with good stories since Future State kicked in. So
yeah, and this is the Future State team as well, especially with the artist back on that. So no reason to worry, right?
Yeah, no reason to be concerned. And he's got like, is that like I mean, it's probably just a bike, but it kind of the cover, it looks kind of like a snowmobile that he's got. It's not, but it looks kind of like a snowmobile on the cover.
It's just the same bike he was on the definitely not Akira bike.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Very reminiscent of Akira.
Yeah,
but it's making me want a chase in this, like in the snow now. I want a snowmobile chase and a bat book. Thank you. Green Lantern issue 3. Still a big question mark on this one as to how we're going to like it, but obviously that's still coming out. I do like the characters that it's focused on and given time to. It's just a question if the writing of that Future State issue is going to be indicative of how we feel about it. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Harley Quinn issue 4 coming out. I'm sure that obviously some of the books have Pride variants, and I feel like the one for Harley here, Connor would like to gush over for a second.
The Chris Anker one, yeah, I've already tweeted about it. I mean, I love pretty much everything Chris Anker draws. It's so good. But yeah, no, this is spectacular.
The next book that's double shipping in June is Justice League. I actually really like that main cover for the first one here, 62. Just the hands in for the...
Yeah.
It's a good cover.
Yeah, it's a really simple idea, but it's nice. Yeah.
Very team building.
In fact, the main cover for the Fallen issue 63 is very... It's not actually this, but it's reminded me of the start of Superman the movie, with the heads and the
talking heads,
the trial. Prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's making me think of all the...
Oh no.
All it's missing is those like rings around Black Adam and Naomi.
Yeah. They have a silvery glow.
It's very funny. So it's still Ramview on the backup, doing Just League Dark, still Bendis in the main book, of course. And Marquez is doing art on both.
Yeah, he's still on both, and Zamanico's still on the backup art for both. Although I imagine that will have to change in the relatively near future, given that Zamanico's doing the art for Infinite Frontier, right?
Yeah. So I imagine that's going to change. I also imagine that Marquez is going to, once he's done with this arc, is going to be off an arc, because given that clearly he's ahead because they're double shipping with two books that he did.
He's not the fastest artist in the world anyway.
Yeah, so I assume that after the last issue of this arc, which might be the trial of Naomi commences. So this second issue here in the month is the last issue of the arc. And Matt's face just lit up, hearing that title.
What makes you say? Wait. What makes you say that's the last issue?
Oh, commences. Oh, sorry. I'm like reading the wrong meaning of the word. Sorry.
You
read it as concludes.
I did. I read it as concludes. Sorry.
No, I was scrolling ahead and I got to a certain cover, and I hadn't seen it before. And
we're moving on.
It's really weird putting these two solicits back to back, because the solicit for 62 ends with a last page so shocking that it will leave fans of Naomi screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next issue is like Trial of Naomi, and we're like, all right. Okay.
I assume whatever is revealed at the end of that issue though doesn't, like, I assume the trial happening. Maybe it happens because of that reveal, but maybe the actual thing at the end of the issue is not spoiled yet, though.
Possibly.
As is my guess. Justice League Last Ride, issue 2. I forgot this existed, but it's Chip Zdarsky, so why did I forget this existed?
Yeah, I did as well, but then I'm like, oh, yeah, Zdarsky Justice League book. I'm in for it.
Yeah, I completely forgot this was in the previous solicits.
To be fair, we do this all the time where until we've got the first issue,
yes,
every month when it's in the solicits, we will kind of just forget about it.
That is true. That does happen. Legends of the Dark Knight, issue 2 is coming out. Is this the reprint of the digital stuff?
I believe it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't actually mention it in the solicit.
I thought it was, but maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe I'm mixing it up because of the other actual Batman digital first book. Maybe this is
Because Legends of the Dark Knight is what they used as the digital title, like 7 or 8 years ago now.
Yes.
So maybe this is just a print one this time.
It may be, yeah. Man Bat issue 5. So that's the final issue of that, I believe, because it's a 5-issue mini.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's coming out in June. We have the second issue of the Mr. Miracle mini that's starting in May. Mr. Miracle, the Source of Freedom. Reintroducing the Shiloh Mr. Miracle. So that's cool. Nightwing 81, continuing Tom Taylor's run. With a couple of pretty covers.
I just like to say we should be saying Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's run, especially because Taylor has been calling people out on Twitter for not doing that properly, because it is a joint run for the pair of them, because Redondo is going to be the ongoing artist.
I respect that, but when I'm reading Solicits, there's so many names.
I know, but I just feel like when it was actively called out, we should probably make an effort.
Well, not everyone sees that. I didn't see him call it out.
I know. I'm just telling you now for next time.
I don't stalk creators on Twitter. Don't say that, because if you say I'm telling you now for next time, I'm going to actively not do it to piss you off now. That is how my mind works. You know that's how my mind works. You've just shot yourself in the foot. But what I was going to say is that variant there, I particularly love the texture on his outfit as he's on the top of the gargoyle.
Uncanny Valley about it for me.
I can accept that with the pose, but I think that the texture of the material I particularly like.
I'll give you the texturing, yeah.
I do love that. And there's a Pride variant as well, where he's on top of a Pride flagpole, and he's doing a handstand.
Doing a handstand.
Yeah. The one-arm handstand. Exciting. So that's cool. Then we got Represent issue 1. I have no idea what this is.
It's a digital first thing.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I think it was something. It was to try and get fresh voices.
Sure.
I think mostly minorities as well. Is kind of the idea of the series.
Okay, that's
I think
neat.
most, if not all of it, is already out on digital first.
Yeah, so it's just
I've heard some good things.
Oh yeah, this is a 80-page one. So this is just collecting all of them, presumably, then, and putting it in one book.
All the digital first ones.
Kind of alongside the lines of the Infinite Frontier Secret Origin.
Yeah,
one.
same idea. Yeah. Robin issue 3. This is Williamson's Damien book, with Glenn Melenkov. So
did say that cover's not final. They're trying to hide who the person in shadow is until at least the issues are out.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that. It's better than just a black page saying redacted like Marvel do sometimes with their covers.
Yeah.
Let's just speculate a little bit. The variants also got someone marked out. So
yep.
Neat. So cool. Rorschach, continuing issue 9. So that's get going. This Ruby Justice League book that I always forget exists is still going. With issue 3 of that. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Issue 110, the longest running DC book currently. I'm kidding, but
and again, I feel like points out so often, but still at $2.99. Given that this is a book for all the kids, I really appreciate them making it as accessible as possible.
Yeah. Sensational Wonder Woman. This is obviously reprinting the digital first book. That's issue 4 of that coming out.
What a variant.
Yeah.
I like it.
Really?
I don't like her. The face,
I think it looks nice.
I was going to say that about it, but you said you liked it. And
it's taste stuff at the end of the day. I'm not like knocking you for not liking it. I'm just surprised me.
I think the coloring's very nice, but it's more just a proportions thing. But anyway, Suicide Squad issue 4. Do you know what? I'm still at that point where I'm forgetting that I stopped caring about Suicide Squad because it's not Tom Taylor anymore. So I'm vaguely interested for a split second and then go, oh wait, no, it's a new run by someone else.
Yeah.
And Robbie Thompson is the perfect someone else. So that's the thing. Superman, containing. Oh, I'm sure Matt likes that cover with Clark and John both revealing the S.
Yeah, it's nice, but John's face looks weird.
That's fair.
Like it's sort of the one. The more I look at it, the more bothered by it I get, but I can't look away.
He looks angry in his jaw, but happy in his eyes.
Yeah. I do like the Pride cover though. That looks like a Norman Rockwell painting.
It is really nice. Him sitting on the planet with the flag draped over his cape.
Angry in his jaw, but happy in his eyes. I feel it was a sex joke to be made there, but I'm going to move on. So Superman 32 coming out. Superman Red and Blue issue 4 is coming out.
Oh man.
Yeah. Man just did what I did.
I'm going to assume that reaction is because of that first name in that writer's list.
No, it was the
cover.
The Romita Jr. cover.
Oh, the Romita Jr. cover.
Like,
okay. I see. I saw Mark Waid's name and went, "Oh, Mark Waid."
No, I'm sure it'll be good. Yeah, no, this just reminds me. I perusing Twitter this week and trying to get through the controversies. I ended up clicking on somebody that claimed that JR is the most prolific artist currently working in comics, and nobody holds a candle to them. And I couldn't tell if it was satire or if it was sincere.
I very nearly did an accidental spit take then when you said that. I was just not expecting.
Hey, on the upside,
this guy's feed for longer than I should have. Trying to figure it out.
On the upside, he's not listed in the artist list for the book, so he's just doing the cover.
Right.
So
yeah,
small victories. Teen Titans Academy issue 4 coming out. That's still going. Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue 3 is a thing. You got the Dreaming Waking Hours issue 11. That's G. Willow Wilson's Sandman Universe book, which is, I assume, coming near to an end, because that's a 12-issue book now, isn't it?
I don't remember it being a 12-issue book.
Or did it get changed to an ongoing? I'm sure it was meant to be like limited at some point.
It might well be, but it definitely doesn't mention that at any point in the solicits.
We got the Flash 771. Continuing that
God.
run.
Look at the cover. Welcome to Sanctuary.
Oh no! Oh no! Leave Wally alone.
That is Wally.
The final line of the solicit. Will this journey break Wally forever or return him to glory? I'm like, just stop doing this.
Can I complain about the Flash showing up in the T's and not the F's?
Yes, you can, because that annoys me too.
Yeah.
That does not count when you're doing alphabetical ordering. I agree.
No.
Same with the Joker, which is next. Joker issue 4.
That should be under. Oh man.
Yeah, it should be under J.
Connor, Pete describing this last week almost made me want to check it out. I said almost because
it wasn't bad. I was getting into it.
I understand what the premise is, but it's Killer March, so I'm not doing it.
I liked it more than Wonder Woman last week, so I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, you've got no taste. We know that.
People can bait me, right? People can bait me.
By the way, is there something going on with Matt's mic, or am I hearing things?
There's a little bit. Maybe he needs to preemptively reset it. It's not quite the full thing yet, but
it's just clicking.
Yes. Batman Second Son issue 3, reprinted digital, and we are still going to talk about this book. When issue 1 comes out in print, we'll talk about the first, I think, 3 digital chapters is what make up that. So that should be soon. We'll see when we'll get to the list saying what's coming next week and go, oh, okay, we'll pencil that in for next week. Is basically what's going to happen. The Swamp Thing issue 4 still says of 10, but I'm hoping that we can all buy enough copies to keep that going.
And even if it doesn't get extended immediately, they might do it as a season 2 style thing.
Equally good.
Yep.
Wonder Girl issue 2. We're all looking forward to the Adventures of Yara Flor.
And all of those covers. And
they are all. I think I like the first variant the most out of the 3 of them, but it's there's nothing bad there to complain about. Wonder Woman 773 and 774 is the third and final double shipping book of the batch. Still Becky Cloonan's run, of course, but worth mentioning there's 2 of them. And
it's the end of the first arc as well, they mentioned.
This could be where I call it. If I get to 2 issues in a month and I'm not feeling it yet, that may be where I call it, but we'll see. Oh, Matt's got no audio now at all.
Hang on, have we missed something else he's been saying since he turned it off and on?
I don't think so. Here he's coming.
How are we now?
Oh, there we go.
Shoot. I've been talking this whole time. And wondering why I was getting steamrolled.
What have we missed? Let's get it all out.
Welcome
just I was going on about Yara Floor and how great the covers are.
Oh, did you? Oh, very.
We were too busy looking at all the nice covers to look at you.
Yeah,
that's fine. Connor, in your opinion, is that meant to be Mjolnir on the cover of 773?
773.
Wonder Woman?
oh, maybe.
Let me go find it.
Yeah, it's a
probably,
hammer.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got lightning around it.
Yeah.
I mean, Thor's already in the book. It's not like that would be weird.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
but I'm just saying, like, is just a weird angle that we're supposed to be looking at a sword of some kind, or you know?
no, it's definitely not a sword.
No, it's definitely. I think it's a hammer.
Because it definitely looks like the Mjolnir pendants they found in Viking sites.
What's interesting about Thor? Obviously, Marvel don't own the rights to Thor as an idea because it's Thor.
No.
But is that I actually don't know where the lines begin and end as to what other places can do with Thor and what they can't.
I mean, I think because Marvel's Thor is so unique, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even like the people he's related to are very different to actual mythology.
Yeah.
News to me.
But... the fact that he's blonde in Marvel comics, where he's always redheaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or dark. Yeah, it depends.
He's a ginger.
Aspects. Most of the time, he's ginger.
Yeah. That's where the ginger gene comes from. They think it's from up north.
Connor's not a descendant of Thor. Don't even start. He's too lame.
Look,
maybe not Connor, but you know,
it's not impossible.
No.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, so, and you would assume that certain design features, right, like the helmet on Marvel's Thor.
Yeah, and I would say the circles on the chest pads.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
That's probably something that you couldn't do.
No, I mean, I would guess it'd be like Hercules. Like we've had Hercules pop up.
All I'm saying is I'm sure that both Clooney and the artist, I'm sure they both have like a crib sheet of saying this is the things you absolutely cannot say or do because this is Marvel's version of Thor. These details.
Have at me.
Yes.
No, you can't put that one there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Batman Dark Prince Charming trade paperback. That sort of came out as a hardcover. This was a pretty solid little standalone Batman story.
We did this for Patreon a while ago.
Once upon a time, yeah, it was a long time ago. Really nice art.
Very good though.
Yeah. Deceased Unkillables trade paperback coming out. Again, I think that may have already had a hardcover. So cool.
Yeah.
Best part of Deceased for my money as well. Yeah, Future State trades coming out. Dark Detective, Wonder Woman. We got Justice League Unlimited Girl Power trade paperback. You got OMAC, One Man Army Corps by Jack Kirby coming out.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a trade there. Preacher 25th Anniversary Omnibus Volume 2. So they've been
Connor,
doing...
you gonna get that? It's Garth Ennis. We all know you love him.
I think he's so edgy. I dislike. Joe, I feel about.
I'm in the same spot.
I feel like Ennis in a similar way I do about Mark Miller, where I like the ideas and I love how they're adapted a lot of the time, but I think he's just overly edgy and kind of mediocre as a writer.
Sure. Suicide Squad, The Greatest Shots, trade paperback. Supergirl Adventures, Girl of Steel, trade paperback. I'm just listing some of these trades off here at the end there. Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Volume 1, Hero of Metropolis. That's Venditti's.
That's the Venditti digital first that came out last year that I highly recommend.
It is, and I actually like that they're doing both sessions because it's 1 to 6 and then 11 to 15. So when he returned for more.
Sweet Tooth Compendium, 920 pages. This is. I've never really been attracted to the big, thick, like omnibus-sized soft covers. They're kind of weird to me, but you know.
They're hard to read, but they are wonderful for price and accessibility because this is $60 for 40 issues.
Yeah, this is the whole run.
How hard would this be to actually read? And I would assume it's very hard. Like,
yeah, they've got a couple of the Walking Dead ones. I think are 50 issues each when they do those. And those are monstrous. I've flipped through them a couple of times in the store.
I will say.
I never realized.
If you're not.
Go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say, if you're not a fan of creases in your paperback spines, I would stay far away from the compendiums because they will be creased to shit.
Crease.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what Sweet Tooth was about because I've never read a single thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you reach the Solicits, it's a cross between Bambi and Cormac McCarthy's The Road.
It's actually not a bad description.
It's like I just got whiplash from reading that.
I've read I've not been reading the new book that the sequel he's been putting out, but I did read the whole original book. And Netflix are doing a show, so you're going to be able to watch it in the not too distant future. Green Lantern season 2 hardcover coming out.
Yeah.
Volume 2 specifically. They split it in two. So
yeah. So it's just the back half.
You got The Last God. You got the New 52 10th Anniversary Deluxe. What even is it? What's in this?
Throw that in the fire.
It's all the issue ones again, like they did in that omnibus, isn't it?
What's the point?
Right into the fire.
What is the point? Like, it's such a worthless book. Sandman Deluxe Edition Book 3 hardcover. I guess I've been working through the Sandman and Deluxes. Cool. Nice. Suicide Squad Case Files 1 hardcover. Okay. Suicide Squad Collection of Classic
Features
Stories.
debuts and key appearances of Bloodsport, Mongol, Polka Dot Man, King Shark, Weasel, The Thinker, Peacemaker, and Amanda Waller herself.
And the Case Files Volume 2 trade paper. They did the trade first? That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That's
I
usually
feel
the
like
other way
this
around.
is going to try to capitalize on the movie, because doesn't the movie come out this summer?
I suspect these are supposed to just be compilations that, you can buy for people who like the movie. So
Yeah, the fact that these both come out in July is very telling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Polka Dot Man and Weasel, which I know are in there, and then you see Peacemaker.
Yeah, Peacemaker as well, I think was a big one.
Oh.
Yeah. And then you got Wonder Woman Lords and Liars, which is Tamaki's whole run, I think. Just in one trade. 264 pages. So it's a bit of a meteor trade, but her run wasn't that long, so it makes sense just to put it all in one book. So, and there you go. That's Solicits. Jude, Solicits done. There was one bit of news to add on to that, though, to do with Black Label. It's got a new boss. There's a new head of Black Label. DC senior editor Chris Conroy is taking over management of the publisher's Black Label program. As part of the new position, he also oversees the Milestone and Sandman Universe pop-up imprints, with a team that includes assistant editor Marcus Draper, along with associate editors Andrea Shea and Maggie Howell. I guess the only thing here, I don't really know too much about the person himself, but I think them putting a new person in charge of Black Label at least tells me, Black Label's not completely dead. They're still doing things with it.
I know a little bit. I think Conroy, he was the Batman group editor for a while. I think in the New 52 stuff for a bit. And to be fair, like, a lot of the Batman stuff in the New 52 wasn't like terrible. It was definitely not the worst section of the content there.
No, because it seemed cohesive. Like everything kind of had to go around what Snyder was doing, right? And that was a balancing act.
Yeah.
So.
I know in a positive sign for things going forward, Tynan mentioned because someone asked him, that horror book that he's doing for Black Label. Someone in an interview asked him, "Why are you doing it at Black Label instead of going to Image or wherever?" Because he works with a lot of places with other horror books, and he basically said, because he wanted to work with this editor. It was like, yeah, sure. I think that's a good sign for if this is the types of books that he's looking at for the line.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, between that and then I know you're not as excited because of Ennis, but like I think Batman Reptilian and this horror book by Tynan, I think this is the sort of stuff I like to see from Black Label. Like I loved the Hill House almost entirely. There was the one book that we didn't like as much, and obviously I like some more than others, but I love getting those types of books from DC.
And did you say Andrea Shea was involved in the department now? Yeah, that's good. They're I saw again a lot of praise on Twitter last week. The one instrumental in getting the Pride anthology happening.
Oh, good.
So again, might lead to some more diverse books.
This is maybe a case of obviously a lot of changes happened last year, and Black Label was just kind of lost in the shuffle for a bit. Maybe this is them finally kind of just sorting it out, making it sort of run on its own as a stable.
Because we lost the Black Label editor, in the in all of the redundancies. So
I'm glad they didn't try to rename it around, like, because they could have said, "Oh, technically this is the start of a new thing," but they've realized no, this already is a name that we can use. We can just continue this branding and stick with that. And I wonder, like, if we hadn't had the Hill House books and the stuff that came after, and maybe some of the stuff that because I think like obviously Rorschach, I think it's Black Label technically, and maybe one or two other things. I wonder if that stuff, rather than the earlier things that got a lot more controversial, that weren't as well received, like the Azarello book,
To
are
be fair,
more.
that was only controversial because of the weird editorial flip flop.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that if it had just been those earlier things, they might have been more inclined to rename it and just sort of brand it as something new. But because they're doing more horror books and because they'd already established that horror line at Black Label, maybe that's why they feel more inclined to say, no, this has got a brand now, we'll keep this going and continue.
I actually agree with what you're saying, but I think the reasoning is just slightly off. I think what it is because they've been reprinting classic stories under the Black Label trade, right?
Yeah.
Like big, well-known stories. Like I think All-Star Superman's in it, and basically, I think they've established at a point in the bookstore market now where, oh no, these are the Black Label stories. Don't necessarily mean as much in terms of tone or continuity for us. More for these are the books that we want to have that evergreen. Will always just sell in the bookstore.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad they're still doing horror books that are just sort of basically create your own works. That, I mean, they're not actually create your own. I'm sure time doesn't necessarily keep. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
I think it probably is, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe they do have some sort of. Maybe this is DC's way of saying, hey, we don't want to lose more good creators to Image because you're tempted by create your own. So here, we'll give you a corner of our company where you can do create your own works.
I mean, this is kind of what Vertigo always was.
Kind of, but DC still kind of owned a lot of that, though, right? Did they not?
Some of it, yeah. It changed in later years, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good. It keeps them in the family. It keeps like Tynion happy, and he'll keep doing Batman for them, and we get a cool horror book out of it. So,
we all win.
Yes, everyone wins. As opposed to, so it's the opposite of Lance Archer, Matt. Keep you in the keep you in the loop.
Yeah.
That was a wrestling reference, Connor.
Oh, okay.
Don't stress yourself.
Yo,
I'm missing something.
thumbtacks. Never okay. I yelled.
Oh, that was glorious. No, Brett Baker. Brett Baker with blood pouring down her face, but that evil smile. She just became a star.
Yeah.
That will be remembered.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, when she pulled out the thumbtacks, I went, I'm not comfortable watching this. And then I thought they were going to do that, keep away spot.
Yeah.
And they went straight for it, and I wasn't ready. Yeah. Oof. Those two women, they've jumped to the top of my favorite. I already love Thunder Rosa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like Britt. Like she's come a long, long way. But that match, for them to do that,
just before we get into the books, can I excite you, Pete? Legitimately this time. This is not me, doing something shady. This is something that will actually excite you.
You want to rephrase that?
Remains to be seen. But
yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know phrasing and all that. But I looked ahead at who was writing the Alien book because it's out next week.
Okay.
Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Oh.
Everything's coming up, Millhouse.
Yeah. If I have time, I might throw in a little mini Alien review at the end of the podcast next week. I'll give people my thoughts on it.
Well, you can do that, and me and Matt can't talk about Once and Future.
Yes.
I'm not caught up yet, Connor. Let me catch up.
That's fine.
Yes.
I can talk about the first trade.
I might be caught up by next week because I picked up the second trade at the shop because Savage Shores was in yet.
Don't pretend that this is not a dictatorship where my way goes, right?
No, it's not.
Let's not pretend that else.
Don't tell me to go rogue, Pete. I'll do it.
We need a revolution.
I just realized I became the Russian Batman from Red Sun. I'll do it.
But Matt, how good is Once and Future?
It's so good. As I said on Twitter, it is to the formatting of legend and myth to what Star Wars is to the Joseph Campbell, that whole thing. What is that? The hero's journey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. This is not the book I was expecting it to be at all. Because it's not really high fantasy,
No,
it's more...
it's urban fantasy. It's all about storytelling.
Yep. So, it's really good.